Only if this story truly resonates with you. Please hit like, subscribe, and leave your city or country along with your current local time in the comments. My name is Emily Johnson. I am 32 years old, and tonight changed everything in my family forever. It all began when my father, his face red with anger, slammed his hand on the dinner table and said, "You are wasting your life chasing him. Emily, he will never be enough for you," while my mother avoided my gaze, whispering, "We just want what is best for you," and I could feel my chest tightening, my heart pounding against my ribs. My older brother smirked from across the room, adding, "She always fails, Dad. Why waste time?" I felt the sting of betrayal, the injustice of my own family siding against me, my younger sister glancing nervously, clearly unsure whom to support. "I am not failing," I shouted, my voice trembling with emotion. "I love him and that should be enough." But my father only shook his head, a shadow of disappointment and control passing over his features. The tension was suffocating, and I realized that everyone in this room thought they knew my worth better than I did, my feelings dismissed, and my autonomy questioned. The air felt thick, and my mind raced, remembering all the subtle ways favoritism and neglect had shaped my childhood, the whispered comparisons and silent judgments, now culminating in this public humiliation. Yet, as I looked out the window, the city lights twinkling below, I felt a flicker of defiance, a small ember that refused to be extinguished, hinting that the story was far from over and that something powerful was simmering beneath the surface, a truth waiting to reshape everything. This night, this confrontation, marked the beginning of a journey, a revelation that would eventually confront deception, challenge control, and reclaim dignity, leaving the audience aware that the family's understanding of me was incomplete and the secrets I carried were about to shift the entire dynamic, setting the stage for a dramatic transformation that no one yet realized. Growing up in my childhood home, I always noticed the subtle ways favoritism shaped everything. My father praised my older brother for achievements I had worked equally hard for, saying, "Learn from him, Emily. He knows the right path," while I sat silently, my hands folded, heart aching with the unfairness. My mother would often glance at me, sighing, "One day you will understand," yet I never did, and the contrast between their words and their actions stung deeply. I remember my younger sister whispering, "Why does she always get scolded?" as my brother smirked in the background, enjoying the imbalance, and I could feel the unfair weight pressing down on me, the quiet humiliation that built over years, small incidents that added up to a mountain of emotional neglect. The toys I cherished were constantly taken or dismissed as unworthy, my ideas and feelings minimized. "That is not how we do things here," they would say, making me question my own sense of worth. I recall the family dinners where my achievements were barely acknowledged, yet every misstep exaggerated, each mispronounced word or forgotten chore noted with disapproval, reinforcing that I was always under scrutiny, always second place, invisible in my own home. Despite the love I felt from my family, I began to internalize a quiet resolve, a flicker of determination that whispered I would rise above these patterns, that my worth was not defined by their limited perspective. This foundation of unfair treatment planted a seed that would grow into resilience, setting the stage for the transformative journey ahead, hinting that the next steps in my story would involve challenging expectations, claiming recognition, and quietly preparing for a future where the balance of power and respect could finally shift, leaving the audience with the sense that a significant change was about to unfold. After years of feeling overlooked, I finally received an unexpected opportunity to present my research at a local medical conference. I remember standing backstage, my heart pounding, as my older sister leaned over and whispered, "You really think they will listen to you?" While my mother nodded anxiously, her eyes full of doubt, and for the first time I did not flinch or apologize. I simply smiled and took a deep breath, stepping onto the stage with a calm resolve. The audience greeted me with polite applause, and I noticed the department head raising an eyebrow in curiosity rather than scorn, my colleagues whispering to each other, "Who is this newcomer?" which only fueled my determination. I began presenting my findings with clarity and confidence, explaining complex data with ease, and for the first time I felt the weight of their skepticism lifting, a subtle shift in energy that told me my voice was being heard. Even my sister leaned forward, mouth slightly open, eyes wide as she murmured, I did not expect her to handle this so well, and the tension in the room was palpable as my calm authority filled the space, leaving no room for dismissal. After finishing a key segment, I glanced at my mother, who looked shocked yet proud, and I realized that the old patterns of doubt and undervaluation were losing their grip on me, that I was no longer reacting automatically to their judgments, but owning my presence fully. The applause was gentle but meaningful, and the whispers around me suggested that my research and poise were leaving an impression far beyond the small conference hall. As I stepped off the stage, I sensed a ripple of change beginning to form, an awareness among my peers that I was capable, prepared, and not to be underestimated, and I felt a surge of possibility, a quiet promise that the next chapter would bring challenges, confrontations, and recognition, hinting that something significant was about to unfold that would alter the trajectory of my career and family dynamics. Weeks after my breakthrough presentation, subtle manipulations began surfacing around me. I overheard my colleague whispering to another, "She only succeeded because of favoritism, not talent," and my supposed mentor gave me instructions I later discovered were misleading, designed to create errors in my report. During a departmental meeting, the senior physician said, "You might want to reconsider your methodology before it reflects poorly," his tone seemingly helpful yet deliberately undermining, while my peer, Emily, smiled knowingly, sharing secrets she was not supposed to know, implying a web of deceit I had not anticipated. I received a cryptic email from the research assistant, hinting at data being altered. "Check the numbers carefully. Some files have changed." My heart sank, realizing my integrity could be questioned. Confronting Emily quietly, I asked, "Why are you sabotaging me?" She replied coolly, "I am just protecting my career," and I understood how trust had been betrayed, how lies had circulated and been accepted as truth by those around me. My department chair's casual comment, "It is hard to know who is accurate these days," made it clear that my credibility was under silent attack. As I pieced together the incidents, I recognized the system of manipulation was widespread, affecting multiple colleagues, and the emotional shock left me numb and isolated, uncertain whom to rely upon. I sat in my office, phone buzzing with more messages, each revealing another layer of falsehoods and half-truths, the pattern undeniable and my confidence shaken, and as I stared at my untouched report, the weight of deception crashing down, I realized that the environment I trusted had collapsed around me, leaving only the hard truth that I must now navigate this betrayal and plan my response carefully. After discovering the manipulation, I tried to confront each person systematically. I called Emily first. "I need to understand why you shared false information." Her voicemail clicked over, leaving me with uncertainty. I emailed the research assistant, carefully detailing discrepancies in the data, only to receive a generic reply, "Everything appears correct on our end," which felt like deliberate evasion. I wrote formal letters to the department, highlighting inconsistencies in multiple reports, but they were met with silence or bureaucratic deflection. "We will review this internally," a phrase that stalled every attempt to clarify the truth. One evening, my phone lit up with another message from an unknown number. "You cannot change what has already been seen," intensifying my sense of helplessness. Colleagues whispered in the hallways, their glances sharp and judgmental, leaving me questioning alliances and trust, while my attempts to seek mentorship were met with polite yet dismissive words. "Perhaps this is a learning moment for you," creating a labyrinth of isolation. I reviewed every call log and email, noting the timing and recipients, the pattern of obstruction undeniable, my efforts to resolve the situation failing repeatedly, each new revelation of dishonesty, adding weight to the emotional burden. As I sat alone in my office, the hum of the fluorescent lights and the empty hallways amplified the sense of abandonment, realizing that the network of deceit had effectively cut me off from support, leaving only the quiet understanding that I was alone in navigating the fallout, the weight of systemic betrayal pressing down with every attempt to restore credibility unanswered, unresolved, and deeply isolating. In the quiet aftermath of relentless deception, I sat alone in my small apartment, the city lights casting long shadows across the floor, the emails and phone calls unanswered, the trust I had built shattered. I whispered to myself, "I am the only one I can rely on." Realizing the depth of isolation, my mentor called unexpectedly, voice calm yet concerned. "Take a moment to breathe, reassess everything," his words breaking through the fog of betrayal and exhaustion. I glanced at a photograph on the desk, the memory of supportive colleagues and friends from early training, their smiles now distant but comforting, reminding me that connection once existed and could exist again. I felt the weight of loss as though a part of my life had been erased, the betrayal leaving scars invisible but intense, the emptiness pressing in, yet within that, a subtle awareness sparked, a recognition that my resilience was the seed for recovery. I took deliberate steps to reclaim my routine, organizing notes, revisiting unfinished research, and setting small, achievable goals, a sense of control returning slowly. Late that evening, I spoke to a 2-over video call. I know it has been hard, but we can rebuild together. Their nod and steady gaze mirrored hope, hinting at collaboration and mutual support. I walked through the hospital corridors the next day, noticing the small victories, a successful consultation, a patient's grateful smile, these moments grounding me, affirming that even after abandonment and deceit, professional purpose could be restored. I understood the magnitude of my situation, that the past losses were real and painful, yet each action taken to rebuild was a conscious reclaiming of agency and self, an emotional awakening beyond mere endurance. By the time the weekend arrived, I had drafted a plan for upcoming presentations and engaged colleagues, not with blind trust but with measured openness, signaling a return to active life and recognition that recovery was now within grasp. The solitude no longer felt like despair but a reflective space where clarity emerged, guiding me toward the next chapter, a faint smile crossing my lips as I realized that while the betrayal had scarred me, it had also illuminated my strength, and the journey toward restoration was just beginning, with hope quietly budding in the corners of my heart. After weeks of late nights and meticulous planning, I finally stood in the brightly lit hospital corridor, my white coat crisp, badge gleaming, feeling the quiet thrill of reclaimed control over my career. Dr. A1, your presentation is scheduled for tomorrow, a colleague reminded me, her tone both admiring and slightly envious, and I nodded, a small smile curving my lips. Recognizing the respect I had earned without relying on family influence, each patient interaction was precise and compassionate, and I overheard nurses discussing my innovative approach to patient care, which ignited a sense of validation and pride that had long been missing. In the research lab, I guided interns, teaching procedures and sharing insights, while A2 worked diligently by my side, our collaboration seamless, a quiet but powerful display of professional growth and independence. I am proud of what we have achieved together, I whispered, knowing no external family pressure could overshadow this moment. During meetings with senior doctors, I confidently presented case studies, my voice steady, my arguments well-reasoned, and even the skeptical department head nodded in acknowledgement, marking a turning point in my reputation. Later, walking through the hospital courtyard with A2, we discussed upcoming conferences and research opportunities, our laughter echoing, a testament to resilience and regained self-worth. Every step I took was deliberate, a manifestation of autonomy, and I realized that the journey from betrayal to self-empowerment had forged a stronger, more self-assured identity. As the sun dipped below the skyline, casting long shadows and golden light across the buildings, I glanced at A2 and said, "The future looks promising," and for the first time in years, I truly believed it, a subtle thrill of anticipation coursing through me, hinting at the successes yet to come, the hard-earned respect and recognition waiting on the horizon. Standing in the bustling hospital atrium, I adjusted my name badge, the polished gold lettering catching the fluorescent light, and felt a surge of pride as colleagues greeted me with nods of respect and acknowledgement. "Dr. A1, your leadership in the cardiology division is remarkable," one senior nurse said, her smile genuine, and I returned it, realizing the position I had earned reflected skill, dedication, and resilience, rather than family connections. Nearby, A2, my steadfast collaborator, organized charts with calm efficiency, his presence grounding, and together we navigated rounds and consultations, demonstrating authority and competence that had once been questioned. During a departmental meeting, I confidently outlined a new protocol, my voice firm yet inviting, and watched as even skeptical peers leaned forward, intrigued by the evidence and insight presented. As I passed the lab where interns and residents worked, they looked up with curiosity and respect. inspired by my dedication and clear command of both practice and research. "Your mentorship means a lot," an intern whispered, and I nodded, silently acknowledging the journey from marginalization to professional influence. The uniform of my role, crisp and authoritative, paired with my poised demeanor, symbolized a transformation that went far beyond titles. It was recognition, autonomy, and the embodiment of years of perseverance. Walking through the conference hall, my ID lanyard swinging lightly, I exchanged strategic plans with A2, our quiet teamwork signaling a partnership built on trust and mutual respect, unshakable by prior conflicts or doubts. As sunlight filtered through the windows, casting geometric shadows on the floor, I felt a deep sense of belonging and capability, knowing I had cultivated a career defined on my own terms. And as the day concluded, I glanced at A2 and remarked, "Everything is finally aligning." A subtle thrill of anticipation for the ongoing projects ahead, filling the air, connecting the past struggles with the present success, and hinting at the challenges and victories yet to come. The hospital corridor was unusually quiet as I walked alongside, A2, each step echoing against the polished tile floor, our uniforms crisp, our badges gleaming under the overhead lights. "Do you feel it too?" I whispered, sensing the tension before entering the conference room, where a critical departmental meeting was about to unfold, senior staff members already seated, their eyes darting in subtle glances. As I opened the door, the murmurs paused, and a slow, anticipatory silence settled over the room, A2 giving me a reassuring nod, our shared glance a silent pact of confidence and preparedness. The head of the board cleared her throat, leaning slightly forward. "We have some urgent matters to discuss," her voice calm but firm, creating a pulse of expectation, and I felt the controls shifting, the authority no longer in question, the room now subtly recognizing our influence. I arranged my notes on the sleek table, each paper a testament to months of diligent research and careful planning, and when a skeptical colleague questioned the new protocol, I responded with clarity and precision. "The data supports this change, and patient outcomes prove its effectiveness," my tone even yet commanding attention, the room listening intently. A2 subtly corrected a technical chart, offering an added layer of proof, and the murmurs of doubt began to fade, replaced by tentative acknowledgement, colleagues nodding as the implications became clear, a subtle shift in power settling in. I sensed eyes lingering on me, waiting, the atmosphere thick with anticipation, as if everyone knew a pivotal revelation was imminent, the slow rhythm of conversation and glances building a suspenseful tension. "It is essential that we proceed carefully," I added, letting my words hang, giving just enough pause for curiosity to swell, and everyone leaned in slightly, the room holding its collective breath. With A2's steady support, I prepared for the next discussion point, aware that the true turning point, the revelation that could reshape perceptions, was moments away, the anticipation almost tangible, leaving the audience eager for the truth yet to be disclosed. The room was tense as A1 stepped forward, the calm confidence radiating from her posture as she addressed her family. "I have something important to reveal." Her voice steady, yet carrying the weight of long-held truths. A2 stood beside her, supportive yet alert, their eyes scanning the reactions of the parents and siblings, all waiting, uncertain, the air thick with anticipation. The once subtle glances and whispered doubts transformed into focused attention as A1 continued, "For years, I have worked tirelessly, not for approval, but to ensure integrity and excellence," and she opened a confidential file, revealing undeniable proof of her achievements and the duplicity of the colleague who had tried to undermine her, the evidence precise and irrefutable. Silence enveloped the room, only the rustle of papers audible as eyes widened, faces pale, the parents exchanging stunned glances while A1's siblings shifted, some in disbelief, others quietly impressed. A2 placing a reassuring hand on her back. "I did not come here to accuse, only to clarify." A1 said calmly, her tone cutting through the tension, "What you see is the truth, and I ask you to recognize the efforts, not the rumors." The words slicing with clarity, leaving no room for misinterpretation. One sister finally whispered, We didn't know," while the father's eyes softened, a mixture of guilt and recognition dawning, the dynamics of respect and authority unmistakably realigning in the moment. As A1 folded the folder and took a deep breath, the weight of years lifted slightly, the family now seeing her not as the overlooked or dismissed, but as a strong, capable woman who had mastered her path. A2 smiled faintly, proud and silent, the quiet affirmation speaking volumes as the room absorbed the shift, a collective realization settling in, signaling the irreversible change. The final glance between A1 and A2 hinted at further revelations yet to come, the story far from over, leaving the audience with a lingering sense of suspense, eager to witness the unfolding consequences of truth, loyalty, and self-assertion. After the truth unfolded, the room remained suspended in a heavy, reflective silence, A1 standing resolute, the calm in her posture contrasting the shock lingering in her family's expressions. "I have worked hard for integrity, not approval," she stated firmly, her voice steady and unwavering, eyes meeting her parents' gaze with quiet authority, A2 nodding in support beside her, a silent pillar of strength. Her sister whispered, "We never imagined," and her brother shifted uncomfortably, acknowledging the hidden efforts and sacrifices A1 had endured, the room charged with unspoken realizations. A1 continued, setting clear boundaries. "From now on, I make my own choices, and I expect respect, not interference." A line drawn with precision that left no ambiguity, the weight of years of dismissal finally addressed. Her mother, hesitant, murmured, "We just wanted what's best." Yet A1's expression softened slightly, acknowledging intent but reinforcing autonomy. "Intent is not the same as control, and I will not be sidelined again." The statement resonating, firm yet measured. Conversations grew quieter, each family member processing, some nodding, others retreating inwardly, the impact of deception and neglect reverberating through their minds. A1's father, his voice low, admitted, "Perhaps we underestimated you," the admission sincere yet tinged with regret, and A1 responded without anger, "Recognition now is enough. I do not dwell in the past," asserting authority and self-respect simultaneously. A2's hand on her shoulder offered reassurance, a reminder of the partnership and trust that had guided A1 through betrayal and misunderstanding. The atmosphere balanced between tension and tentative respect, the family slowly realigning to a new dynamic, where A1's independence and achievement were undeniable, yet not all wounds had healed, the unresolved emotions simmering beneath polite nods. The chapter closed with A1 glancing at A2, a subtle smile indicating resilience and forward momentum, leaving viewers on the edge, aware that while truth had surfaced and boundaries had been set, the full reconciliation and emotional resolution remained in motion, compelling curiosity about how relationships would evolve and what further revelations might challenge or affirm this newfound equilibrium. The echoes of confrontation have softened, and A1 now walks through her life with a serene confidence, the once tumultuous home environment replaced by clear boundaries and a sense of self-earned freedom. Mornings begin with calm sunlight spilling across her modern apartment, her favorite coffee cup in hand, a symbol of daily rituals she controls, as she reflects quietly, "I am the author of my own story. No one else defines my worth." This clarity extends to her work, where her competence and vision earn respect from colleagues, and her previously overshadowed voice now resonates in meetings, decisions, and presentations. A2 supporting her with quiet reassurance, reinforcing the partnership built on trust and shared experiences. She reaches out to the audience with a warm, steady tone. If you are carrying wounds from family or betrayal, know that healing begins with acknowledging your own value, establishing boundaries, and embracing the independence you deserve, offering solace without preaching, a gentle hand to those still lost in hurt. A1's reflections include lessons learned about intuition, the need to protect emotional and financial well-being, and the understanding that self-respect is non-negotiable, inspiring viewers to reclaim their own agency with the knowledge that past pain does not dictate future success. As the scene closes, A1 places a small, intricately carved wooden compass on her desk, a symbol of guidance and steadfastness, reminding herself and viewers alike that life's direction is determined by inner wisdom and choice. She smiles softly, eyes meeting the camera. "Thank you for sharing this journey with me, for listening, and for recognizing that none of us are truly alone when we seek understanding and connection. The calm cadence of her words encouraging reflection. The story emphasizes self-mastery, mindfulness, and the recognition that while the path to recovery can be slow, each deliberate step fortifies independence, awareness, and the integrity of oneself, ending with the invitation to continue exploring these narratives, to watch upcoming episodes that promise more insights into resilience and personal growth. I am Harper, 34, and the core lesson I want to share with you is that trusting yourself is the first step toward freedom. A closing reflection that gently transitions viewers into anticipation for the next stories, leaving a lingering sense of inspiration and the gentle assurance that the journey toward wholeness continues.